Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, somewhere on a lovely planet. Thanks so much for joining us live here for the one and only Serverless Office Hours. We aren't streaming, unfortunately, on the AWS Twitch channel, so hopefully you found us over there. It is AWS Reinforce this week, so it's all about security conference. So they have decided to take over the Twitch channel for all today for all good reason. But we are on YouTube, so if you're joining us from there, you're most welcome, and also joining via LinkedIn Live. I'm Julian Wood. I'm a developer advocate for serverless here at AWS, and I'm super duper happy today to be joined by the one and only Rosius Ndimofor. Rosius, welcome to Serverless Office Hours. How are you?
I'm doing great, Julian. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, a pleasure. Well, Rosius, you're based in Cameroon. I'm originally from South Africa, so same continent, slightly further apart. But yet, you are a serverless hero, which is super cool. Love all our serverless heroes. But you also, what you're talking about today, the creative Educloud Academy. So just briefly, tell us about your sort of journey into how you've been doing serverless.
So back in the November of 2021, I was I don't know if I was living on a rock, but that's when I was introduced to serverless. Because before then I was just the server guy. I deploy applications to DigitalOcean and all that. So, but in November 2021, I was introduced to serverless by a very good friend of mine, and when I got in and I realized how easy it was to actually create my applications using serverless technology, I just became hooked. And since then I just went right in from November to up to April of 2022. I just started deploying and documenting my applications and sharing with the public. And then in about May of 2022, I got a job as a serverless developer, and then I still kept on learning and growing and sharing content. And then about April, I became a serverless hero. I was made a serverless hero, which, it was some sort of next level validation for me, because it made me realize that I was actually doing something that was really getting some sort of attention. But most importantly, it was helping. It was always about helping other developers, learn the technology and get productive with the technology. And then after that, after being a serverless developer for about a year and a half, I decided to go solo and teach serverless development. What I realized is that a lot of developers out there approached cloud, especially the serverless field, with a certification mindset, and I'm trying to turn the tables around. I'm trying to make them look at it a little bit differently. Look at it from a skill-wise point of view. If you want to actually learn serverless, you need to get your hands dirty with projects and workshops. So that's my approach with Educloud, is to actually help developers, both newcomers and experienced developers, get into serverless and learn serverless through hands-on development of projects and all that, and not just trying to grab the next certificate that is available out there.
Oh, cool. Well, I love the journey story. We're going to be hearing a lot more about Educloud and seeing what it looks like shortly, but just having a quick look back on the last week of serverless. We were talking CDK last week with a proper guru with serverless, Thorsten Hoger. And yeah, 4th of June, that is on our serverlessland.com, serverlessland YouTube channel. And that has all of our previous Serverless Office Hours episodes. So yeah, it's years and years of great content. And some of it doesn't, even though the technology changes really quickly, a lot of those serverless episodes are super useful. So that was the last stream. And in terms of what's new with serverless, well, I mentioned it's Reinforce, which is our cloud security event. I know there are a whole bunch of announcements coming up. I haven't had a chance to digest them and put them in, so I'm maybe already missing a few. There may be some serverless security things which is happening, but yeah, just Data Firehose now has direct integration for Secrets Manager. We're adding another service, Health Imaging, which can publish events to EventBridge. And yeah, an interesting one, API Gateway, always used to have this hard and fast limit of 29 seconds. And now actually you can request a integration timeout limit more than 29 seconds. There are some things you need to think about with the number of throughput that you've got, but yeah, that is pretty cool. So people are building, and one of the use cases for this is if you're using applications for the generative AI, those responses may take longer than 29 seconds. So a use case you may have it, maybe even longer, you may not be able to support it, but a bit more than 29 seconds could be the thing that helps you. Nothing really new on the AWS Compute blog post over the past week, but yeah, running recode after response from a Lambda function by Yurisegev is always a winner. So I suggest if you have a look at the serverless compute blogs, lots of great information coming out over there. It is AWS Summit season, so Japan, what's the date today? 11th of June. So yeah, in 10 days' time, we've got the Japan Summit and then Washington after that. So yeah, I think there are going to be some more summits added to this list, so keep an eye out. But yeah, great free technical content, thousands of like-minded cloud people who just want to learn. So yeah, the AWS Summit's a really good place to pick up all that information. But as you know by now, we are learning all about serverless with the Educloud Academy. So Rosius, you sort of gave us the journey of the history for the Educloud Academy, but tell us what was different about Educloud Academy, or what made you think of doing it in the way, or there are lots of different training and certification platforms. How should we understand Educloud?
Exactly. So I'm quite aware of my competition, and the approach I'm using with Educloud is because I know that all over the internet there's a lot of content spread around. You can take your time to move around the internet and curate all of that content for yourself. But the approach I'm using with Educloud is that I'm trying to teach you serverless using real world application. By trying to help you build real world applications. Let's take, for example, one of the latest workshops on Educloud is about building an Airbnb clone. So what I do is that I try to take the idea of the Airbnb clone and then I break it down in form of AWS services, and try to show you how you can use this AWS service to approach this, and solve the problems using the building blocks kind of like you're bringing Lego blocks together. So what are the main value proposition of Educloud is just about providing you with workshops to get your hands dirty in such a way that you can easily build projects for your own portfolio and have a certain edge when you're going for job interviews, when you're applying for jobs, or maybe you want to build your own personal projects. Maybe you're a freelancer, maybe you're an entrepreneur or something. So that's actually the approach that I took with Educloud Academy.
Okay, so you're sort of taking it from the aspect of, real life workloads, something you may understand, like Airbnb, and I'm sure there are plenty others we're gonna talk about and see.
Yes.
And then you're gonna think about that use case, and it's gonna make you think bigger of you using these building blocks of the cloud to put things together, rather than just chasing a certification where it's about cramming and knowledge information. Valid approach is a different way, but your approach is find a cool use case that people can understand and they resonate with. And I think that's great. I learned a whole bunch of serverless from various projects as well, where there were real world use cases. And it means when you even download it from GitHub or something, the code, you can look through the code and you're like, this sort of makes sense. It's you understand the bigger picture.
Right. Exactly. And I also want to really, because I myself, I have no certifications, no cloud certifications, and but I still could get a serverless job, and I was a senior serverless developer. So I really want to show the students, the users, that hey, you can actually get this thing, you can actually get into the cloud, you can build projects, solid projects, you can get jobs without chasing certifications, because almost everybody can chase certifications, but not everybody can really get down and get their hands dirty. And at job interviews or in your community, you want that edge, and the only way you can really get that edge is if you're that skilled person, if you're that person who everybody has to go to solve a certain issue on step functions, on Event Bridge, on SQS. Okay, that's the go-to guy. And the main reason why I'm using real world applications is because these are common apps that we use on a day-to-day basis. So it's easy to relate to them. You can easily relate to an Airbnb clone because you've used an Airbnb application before, so you'll definitely be curious how this application can be built using serverless technology. So that's where I actually fit in, and I get the idea in your head, and you can do whatever you want to do with it.
That's actually, I like that train of thought. It's a good point of being able to be better in job interviews by knowing the bigger context and the bigger picture. So yeah, in a job interview, it's not like a certification in the way that you're just going to learn the facts and figures of, what is the maximum timeout for a Lambda function and, step functions, how long can that last for, and express workflows, what thing, those aren't the questions you normally get in a job interview. It's normally, how would you think about solving this problem? And if you've been understanding a problem and then building it in your cloud, you'd be much better at that.
Yep.
You already have fans as well. So Leandro Damaskina, thanks for joining us via YouTube. Educloud is a real example of hands-on projects and real learning of what you're doing. So there we go. It's not just me who's impressed with what you're doing.
Leandro.
And of course, remember, we are live here on Serverless Office Hours, so wherever you're watching from, send us your questions and comments. We always love hearing from you, even love hearing where you're from and joining us. We appreciate our international audience.
Yep.
So Rosius, what would you like to show? Would you like to show the Educloud platform, or up to you? You're in charge. You're our educator today.
I'll just go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, share your screen and I'll let you.
I love simple stuff, and I love dark mode too. So, but if you're not a fan of dark mode, which I really think you should be, you can try out light mode, but you simply just have to. We have a 30% discount off of the premium courses. And what I want to actually go ahead and shout out something here, or make a point clear here. We have close to 37 workshops now, because we put out about 2 to 3 courses, or 2 to 3 workshops every month. So we have close to about 37, and 18 of these workshops are free. All beginner workshops, yes, all beginner workshops on Educloud Academy are free, and then we have a couple of intermediate and advanced courses which are free. So I don't want to put out the impression that it's all about grabbing. It's a cash grab or something. I'm really out here to help you to learn. I really want you to learn. I really want you to learn, and shout me out on social media, and let me be a part of your growth, in the cloud and stuff like that. So that's 18 and counting, because every month we must put out something free for you all. And we also have our Discord channel where we organize live sessions and stuff like that. But right now I'm on the platform, and I'll just quickly go straight to the courses. And bear in mind also, I think I should also talk about this. This platform is built with AWS Amplify. It's I really don't have to say much, but if I should say something, AWS Amplify is top tier when it comes to full stack frameworks. I've been using it since 2022, and it's really great. The people working on it are absolute legends. The platform that have just released Amplify version generation 2, and it's absolutely it's groundbreaking. So I built the platform with AWS Amplify, and so we have new courses like this. This is the latest course, and then you can just go ahead and look for and get started with anything. There are beginner courses, there's intermediate, then there's advanced. And then what I also try to focus on is not just the back end aspect of it, because I'm actually a visual learner, and I like stuff that's beautiful. I like looking at beautiful interfaces. So I also go ahead to create front ends for the back end application, so that it really gives you an idea of how the application works, or how the application is perceived, both from the front end, both from the back end and the front end. So that's the approach we've taken with Educloud Academy. So you can just get on here.
Yeah, one of the things I picked up when you said the courses are created by industry experts. So I mean so you're not creating all the courses yourself, but you're getting other experts in the field as well to contribute.
Exactly.
How does that happen? And yeah.
All right. So what we do is that we collaborate on because right now all the courses on the platform are text based, but the next the next 3 courses which will be coming up by the end of this month are all videos. So
Okay.
because when we're building the platform, I could not just add videos. Or I was taking it step by step. So I came with text first, and then now I've added videos. Now it's time to push the video courses. But the way I collaborate with other experts in the field is that we do the documentation for the application. We build it together, and then I deploy it to Educloud Academy. So my friends, my colleagues, which I work with them in other organizations and other projects, constantly reach out and do some collaborations, and they'll bring the best to the platform.
Okay, so the experts that you've chosen are these ex-colleagues that you've worked with before, and
Yes.
just people who've got real world experience in building a
Yeah,
cloud
they
application.
also they also have blogs and content out there. They're absolutely they're really good with stuff. They've definitely been in the serverless field for way longer than I've been in. So
okay, do you have any names of contributors? People can recognize them and then follow them on.
One of the main people that I really contribute, I really work with is Benoit Bois. Benoit Bourre. Yeah. I think you can find him on Twitter, something like that. Yeah. So.
Okay, cool. I'll add that in. Cool. So is Benoit from Cameroon as well, or?
No, no, Benoit. He's actually from I think it's well, that's a French name.
It is a French name, but it could
I definitely know he's either from France or Spain. He's definitely in France right now. But
okay,
I
cool.
think he's from one of those two, France or
Yeah,
Spain.
I know Ben was a very French name, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of francophones in France as well. And Steve, thanks. You're also joining us from Africa, from Kenya. Cool.
Oh
Nice
yeah,
to
Steve. Oh man, that's nice. Yeah. So, and also when you're learning on the platform, it actually keeps track of your progress. It's as you progress along the workshop. If wherever you stop, once you come back to that, it records your progress and it just puts you back on track where you're left off. So it's actually great, and we've gotten a couple of nice feedbacks from people from students who are currently using the platform or who have used the platform before, and it's always nice to get some positive and even negative feedback, so we improve upon. So it's something that I would like everybody to try it out. It's not just about the premium courses. You can actually go with the free courses that are both that 18 at least 18 free courses, and then you can also join our Discord channel where we have live sessions every Saturday, and we're also focusing on generative AI, which is like everywhere right now, and you can do a lot with it. So
Okay, so in terms of sort of learning pathways, what are some courses or some things that people can get started with? Are there different tracks? Are there different, sort of what different pathways can people explore?
exactly. So if we go back to the courses, we'll see that we have beginners. We have for this for intermediate users or students, and then this for advanced. So if it depends on, it actually depends on what level you think you might the way you've assessed yourself, right? We'll actually give you the possibility to choose however you want to, what approach you want to use. If you feel like you should go with the beginner phase, maybe you're a beginner, then go with all the beginner courses, and there are a lot of them. If you feel like no, you're already way past the beginner phase, then try out intermediate workshops. And if you feel like you're actually a boss at it, then go for the advanced courses, because there's a ton of content within them, because a lot of research was done. in order to create those. So,
but I mean, the courses have a lot of tags on them as well. So also just in terms of visibility, you can search, say, for example, GraphQL, for example. So if you are interested in GraphQL, there are a couple of courses which you can look at that, and so
yes,
discover a pathway for GraphQL, for example.
Yeah. So we cover. I think we cover all the. We cover a couple of infrastructure as code frameworks like AWS SAM, CDK, and Terraform. There's a ton of content surrounding those three ISs. So I think it's something a lot of students will love. I don't think the course preview and the image does enough justice to the course content, and I really urge users to maybe click on it, look at the lessons and the modules, and you actually see that there's just a ton within the workshop that we cannot actually fill that up in an overview. Let's take, for example, there's this course. I think I'll search. Let me see, enhance. Yeah, enhancing APIs with generative AI, and I think this is actually, I think this is a course. This workshop is really in depth, and it's really deep. The architectural diagram and even the front end doesn't do enough justice to the course content. I really urge users to do a deep dive and see everything that's within the course, because there are a lot of germs, a lot of diamonds within the course, stuff that you can actually pull out and build out, maybe complete your own project, start your own project, and put it on your portfolio, and go out there and just be awesome.
Okay. Do you have an example beginner course that maybe we can sort of go through a little bit and see the kinds of workshop tasks that people would want to do?
Absolutely. So let me see. Which one? I think I don't want to go for something really too easy. Rust? No. Okay, GraphQL. Let me see.
Or even if that is a generative AI one too complex, or what do you think?
Yeah, the generative AI is it's because it was actually a little bit complex, so it's from the intermediate level. For the free version, I actually put that on my personal blog. No, don't want to. So yeah, we can try out this. I think this is pretty
So
easy.
build a GraphQL CRUD API with AWS SAM. Okay.
With AWS SAM and Python. Yeah, I don't know if maybe you want to take control, or let me just go through it. And
no, you go for it. Yeah, you're the expert. You're our teacher today.
All right, nice. So actually, I'll be the teacher and I'll be the student at the same time. So if I want to actually start, let me say, building APIs, maybe I want to build an API with SAM. I've seen it somewhere online, and I've actually come across this workshop, and I'm like, okay, I want to learn this. The first thing is that we have the course code, which you can download it because learners are different. Some people want to have the complete course code, and just look at it before actually going through the course stepwise. So you can actually download the code if that's what you want to do, and then once you have it, or if you don't have it, you can start with the introduction, where we outline the prerequisites and what you need in order to go through this course successfully. So you can go through it. You can see we try to define the AWS services and everything you need. Defining each service. We try to define it and just give you, some a brief introduction of all the services you need to accomplish the course, and then we show you how to create a SAM project, since we're using the SAM CLI or the SAM infrastructure as code framework. So we have screenshots and everything. Is really well detailed, and we don't try to assume anything from the beginners stage. It's from the intermediate projects that we actually just show you code fragments, and we don't spoon feed you a lot. But at this stage, we do a lot of spoon feeding. So we define the SAM project, and then we show you how to deploy that, and then do a couple of definitions and getting you up to speed on what's happening. And then we'll go to the next stage where we try to define or break down how a SAM template is structured and how each section is structured, which is really essential when you're trying to learn SAM. You have to know where to declare your environment variables, the resources, the parameter section, and stuff like that. Then after that, that's where we begin, filling up the blank spaces. So we show you why you need a table, or on where the table resources need to be defined in the template. Then after that, since it's a GraphQL API, we have the schema, the GraphQL file, where you have to put that and how you create your GraphQL API resources. And we try to define every we'll try to let you know the definition of every little resource. Every little,
it's nicely explained. It's not like 2 long paragraphs for each one, and it's not just the word. So it's very nicely beginner friendly without being a bit patronizing, where it's too much information. And
right. So and then we move on to define the schema. So there's a lot of in the beginner phases, there's a lot of spoon feeding. I know intermediate developers won't really love stuff like this. They want to just show us the interesting parts. But at this stage, I remember when I was trying to learn this stuff, I really wanted somebody to break it down like this for me. So we talk about queries, we talk about mutations, and how to define all of those and what they mean. Then we'll move on to now breaking down each endpoint in our application and telling you how to define the endpoints, or define the resolvers and the mutations within a resolver, which is inside your template .YAML file. And all of that's just the process. That's just what you actually go through step by step. You define your project, you copy the code, you put in your project, and then you run it, you deploy the application at the end, and then you test it. Try to show you how to test or where to find the endpoint inside the AWS console, and how to get it and run it and test it. It's really there's a lot of screenshots, there's a lot of spoon feeding, and for beginners, like I keep saying, it's really great. And this,
even looking at this, I know a bit about GraphQL, and I understand the concepts of the resolvers and everything, and I could probably hack together something, but I'll definitely go back and look at these some of the foundational things, because also it doesn't look too intimidating. I don't know how long this workshop takes to go, but I don't have to commit hours to do a whole kind of workshop. I can just get the basics I need.
Right. And this style of doing workshops, I actually copied it from some serverless legends like James Beswick and Benjamin Smith. I like the way they documented the serverless Presso workshop. It was so down to the core. Like they got screenshots and they actually circled every part. Click on this button and they circle it. And it was just so detailed that I couldn't even believe. I could only imagine the amount of work, they had to put in that.
It's interesting. I've also been involved in some of the serverless workshops, Serverless Espresso, and we did Innovator Island as well. And I was one of the early sort of testers for the Innovator Island workshop. And I was also, a beginner in some of the things. And it's actually amazing how much work it actually takes to really simplify and focus the eye. You need to look on this and look on this, because once you know these things, you create it. You just put the workshop together, and it's like no, you're missing the learning journey. So yeah. Yeah, Ben and James we used to be on my team, so yeah, they were awesome people to learn from as well.
Yeah. So I think that's just about it. So like I said, on the end of this month, every other course that drops on the platform is completely video, because maybe some people will not like going through text, like they prefer to watch videos, and it's great. And also, if I should still shout out the serverless video, uh, that's the serverless video platform from the advocates themselves, which I actually just copied that part and pasted it here. And it's
great. Well, that's awesome to know that you've actually been able to reuse some of that, because that is really cool to reinvent what's involved in that. No, that's lots of people are creating content, and it's even better when the platforms are reused for other kind of things like this. So that is cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about, because obviously Educloud Academy is built on AWS as well. So tell us a bit about how you manage whatever infrastructure there is, or how you would put together a teaching platform on a platform that you're going to be teaching about.
Yeah. The first thing I want to talk about is the cost of. I've been running it for about a year, and the most expensive resource is AWS WAF. No, I don't know about the WAF, right? Yeah.
The Web Application Firewall,
yeah, it's actually, that's just the most expensive resource that I've used. That's consumed a lot of AWS credits. Amplify is pretty cheap, and a lot of people, I see a lot of misconception in the community where they're sort of trying to like dunk on Amplify, talking about stuff like it's expensive or it's a black box and stuff like that. The platform has greatly evolved, and it's really I will not say cheap, but it's really affordable to run. And I urge all developers to try it out again, to come back and really look at it. I know there are tons of alternatives out there, but let them look at AWS Amplify, and they'll see that it's actually really, really good. So when I thought about the idea of building an educational platform on AWS, I was thinking about building a back end and then building a separate front end. That's you want, I don't know, you just get excited and you want to do stuff as if there are 10 of you. So I had to look at my team size, and then I look at my time frame, I look at my resources, and bring myself to reality and see that there are better options, that if I used something already made, for full stack development, I would save myself a lot of stress. And running this platform for a year now, it's been really great. And I think 2 days back we did a lift and shift from one account to another, and I don't think any subscriber noticed a downtime.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes, it's actually great. I have a ton of numbers, and I'm working on an article to put out to really show people how, I'll not say easy, but how great it is to build on AWS Amplify.
Okay.
And now,
because I know even with the general, because I know I also used to hear the feedback and speak to people about, oh, Amplify is great, and then you sort of get to the edge of what Amplify can do, and then you sort of get a little bit stuck. So my understanding is the Gen 2 makes it much simpler, that everything in Amplify is generated using CDK code with TypeScript. And so because it's just general CDK code, you've got full understanding of exactly everything it's deploying. And you can jump beyond the bounds of Amplify and amend that CDK code, and off you can go and do really anything. So I know that was a particular choice of theirs. So it's good to hear that seems to have worked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so for the if you move between accounts, I mean, the Amplify part is, from some sort of git pull and push and everything, but, things like authentication tools and Cognito and everything, if you're using that, those necessarily aren't so easy to move across. I'm like,
yeah, wow, no, it wasn't. It wasn't easy to do. Especially Cognito. Cognito was, Cognito actually was just a little pain, but I mean, sometimes pain is necessary. So.
Yes. So did that involve? I mean, you can obviously recreate the pool with some of the IDs, but then did people needed to re-authenticate or not?
Yeah, actually, a couple of people needed to re-authenticate, because when we took a snapshot of the application, and then after that snapshot, other users were still coming in. So it was difficult to. So once we moved them, had to move these extra users, and they definitely needed to re-authenticate with the platform.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah, but
Sorry.
Does everything? Yeah, I mean that's normal when you do a snapshot of anything and changes happen after the fact. There. Sorry, I cut you off there. Please continue.
No, it's okay. You can carry on.
Sorry about. And then, so does everything literally run on Amplify, or do you have separate S3 buckets for various storage or video processing or any other sort of infrastructure that?
No, it runs on Amplify. We have a couple of Lambda hooks. We have CloudFront distributions, and then CloudFront, that's what spawns the WAF and stuff like that. But it's just Amplify and Lambda hooks. We don't have any extra. Yeah.
Oh wow. So even, I mean, a lot of the course content and the images and everything, is that just stored in Git directly, or do you and rendered by the front end, or is that just using single page application via S3, which would running on Amplify?
It's actually running on Amplify, but the images are stored in S3, and then we actually get the URLs and pass them through CloudFront and
to the front end.
Yeah. Easy caching.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to someone today. I'm at a conference in Amsterdam. I'm talking to somebody today, and they were they were talking about S3, and they're like object storage, and they're like, I come from a sort of file background. Like, why would he use S3 as an object store? Now, I mean, that's always an interesting question of, well, how do you explain to someone who's used file and block storage how they can use object storage? And then they said, because all I want to do is actually, I've got all these files, and actually all I want to do is just run a website. And I was like, well, let me tell you something about S3. It's probably one of the world's biggest websites. Think of your objects as files, and you just turn it on as a website, and it just serves traffic for you. And he was like, no, so I don't have to store the objects on a file server that I've then got to run a web server to expose those files on the internet. And I was like, no. Object there, S3, the world's best, one of the world's best and biggest website hosters, has got you covered. So
yeah, S3 and CloudFront can work wonders. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
So I mean, on the CloudFront, are there any sort of tips and tricks or hooks or different kind of things that you've had to explore?
No. This is especially for this platform. My principle is like, keep it extremely simple and only add stuff if it's absolutely necessary. We're still pretty young. We're trying to grow, and all of those tips and tricks and all of those gymnastics, I really don't want to get into it because I don't need it. It's not needed yet. I'll definitely come across it if I'm growing exponentially. But for now, the default configuration works perfectly for me.
Okay. And then, I mean, I suppose Amplify has sort of built-in CI/CD pipeline as part of it. So are you just, if you upload a new course, or you find a spelling mistake, or update an image, and I will apologize in advance that probably as the years go by, the screenshots will be out of date because people have to update the screenshots. I'm looking through them all. I'm going, oh, poor Rosius. They're going to be future screenshots to update. But no, naturally they're going to be updates. So yeah, is it just a git push, and you have a beta environments or other kind of different environments you check things? Do you have any sort of automated testing?
Sure.
Is there anything interesting that happens there?
Exactly. So what we do, Amplify makes CI/CD deployments a lot easier. So we have three deployment pipelines. We have the dev, the stage, and the prod. So before anything wants to go to the prod, it has to go through the dev and the stage, where we like scrutinize it. And I think I'm not making something extremely clear here. Actually, we have two Amplify applications. This is for the users, for the students, and then now for the teachers and the admin, it's a different platform.
Yeah.
So it's actually two platforms. And for the courses, updates of the courses and all that, you just, it's everything is real time because it's GraphQL and AppSync, right? So you just change anything on the admin and just save it, and you get it here instantly like that. So it's it's real time. And then for the CI/CD, it's Amplify makes it so easy. It makes it really easy that you don't even need to think about it that much. Yep.
Okay, so that's cool. So yes, you have a sort of separate Amplify app for the admin part of it. And is that for them then the course creators to create their content and edit it on that kind of platform, and then I suppose also look at metrics and look at how the courses are doing and be able to track all the use of the courses. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's the main purpose of it.
Okay. And then data, I mean, obviously the images and everything is stored in S3, but I mean things like text and all that kind of thing, is that still, do you still use it in a database, or how does the sort of data component and of this handle?
We have a ton of DynamoDB databases. Amplify actually creates that a lot.
Yes.
So yeah, we store the text in a DynamoDB. I mean, I don't need to talk so much about DynamoDB. It already has a standard, so it's perfect. And then the images S3, and we just save the links, in the text too.
Okay. And then, I mean, is TypeScript the language of choice to write this all together? So is that TypeScript CDK code and also, the Lambda functions and everything, so you can work in the same language?
Yes, everything is CDK, everything. And currently we're also making a switch. We're trying to migrate to Amplify Generation 2, but there's a little hiccup because currently Amplify Generation 2 doesn't support data store, which we need badly at this point. So we're waiting for that. I don't think it will take much time, but once it does, once they support that, the switch will be really easy because. Nevertheless, we'll have 2 courses which we'll be releasing at the end of this month concerning building applications using Amplify Generation 2. So it's.
Yeah, so you're teaching the own thing you're running on, so it needs to be up to date. Cool. And yeah, Charles Allison, thanks for joining us via YouTube. Yep, we love DynamoDB too. So talk about the future. I mean, what are the plans? You've obviously been talking about video. You've been talking about that kind of thing. I mean, is it just more courses across all various kind of things, or do you sort of foresee any platform changes that are coming up? And yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple of things in mind. The first thing is that obviously you've been paying attention, so you know about platforms like Amped, you know about Wing. There's Momento, there's Upstash. I don't know if you've heard about Diagrid. It's a platform created on Dapper. But now the guys they're releasing a serverless aspect of it called Catalyst. So all of this serverless platforms are coming up, and definitely I know there are a ton of people who want to know how to build applications using these platforms. And so we would have to also create a lot of content. As it keeps spawning up, we'll definitely create a lot of content on how to utilize these platforms to be productive, if not within your organization, but yourself. And then also we'll bring in generative AI to add the whole spice to it and answer your questions a lot quicker, prepare exercises for you a lot faster, be there when we are sleeping, and since the admin section is already on its own, we're preparing it to give other creators the possibility to submit or to put in their own creations, their own courses or workshops, because I cannot, or I and my little team cannot do it alone. And definitely we need a community to build. We need something really, really big. And so those supporting other serverless platforms and then supporting other creators is top priority for us now.
So it's the first part is then expanding the portfolio. So obviously you're talking about AWS services at the moment, but it's going to be adjacent things who other companies like Amped and everything build on AWS, and so sort of extend the knowledge of that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you find instructors and educators? Is that something you're looking for? If someone's right in front of their screen at the moment going, I want to build, I want to help build.
Oh man, that would be great. I actually I think in the past few months, I've had a couple of guys reach out, but they well, if I can put it out there, they wanted to get paid to do that, and I had to just be straightforward with them. At this point, I cannot actually pay you. It has to be something where you put up your course, and if people subscribe to it, you can get a percentage or something. Like we all grow together, but paying you upfront, I'm not actually in a position yet to do that. So if anybody wants to come and create a course and or collaborate in any way, I mean, I'm all open, because like I said, it's just impossible for my team and I to push it to the level where we want it to be. We definitely need other people. We need the entire community to put their hands on it, and we grow together. So.
And I think, as I think cloud training and everything is such a big business, but it does take a while to get going. So obviously, once the course is up there, if you've got more subscribers, people are able to pay for the course, that flywheel can come back. So I know the education business is tough. I mean, it was really hard to hear recently. The company who bought A Cloud Guru. I mean, they were, one of the first service educators, and the company that bought them also had to write down a whole bunch of money for their educational part because they just weren't seeing the revenue. And it's just like, oh man, that's crazy. I think cloud and serverless is really only getting started. So huge amounts of people are just wanting to be educated, want to do things. They want to see fresh new courses and cool things. So
fresh new ideas.
And cool, excellent. Carry on, Rosius.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, and what I noticed is that people also want to see how generative AI and serverless intermingle, because I noticed that on the 2 generative AI courses that are actually uploaded to the platform, people really subscribe to those moments. So it's something that I've really taken note of, and we're trying to take advantage of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's it. Lots of people say generative AI can be a big buzzword and all this kind of thing. But the fact is, they're great use cases. You can do it, and from a serverless perspective, it's amazing from 2 perspectives. One is the writing of the code, and not just the writing of the code, but using generative AI to understand code. So in your IDE toolkit, you've got Amazon Q installed in the console. Even, I mean, I'll be honest, even if you're using other third-party tools to use to understand code, there's a huge big problem in the industry with people not being able to understand other code is being run. You move to a team, you inherit a code base, and just be using generative AI, select a bunch of code, right-click, explain this to me. I don't understand this data structure, and you can feed the model your whole part of your code base, and then say, oh, well, this is getting data from there, it's transforming it to there. And that is super useful. And that's a sort of practical, super practical use case. And then also using these models when you're building generative AI applications, these are just API calls over the internet. It's a very SaaS/serverless model for consumption as well. So yeah, I think it works super well.
Absolutely.
Cool, excellent. Well, Rosius, is there anything we haven't spoken about, or anything I've missed out, or anything else you'd like to speak about or mention?
Well, I don't really think there's anything else apart from my journey into programming in general. If anybody's interested in hearing that side of my story, but
why not? Yeah, we've got some time. I'd love to hear I'd love to hear people's origin story of how they get into programming.
Right. So actually, I was introduced to programming back in 2008, where I traveled to India, and that's when I first wrote my first line of C. It was
wow.
Actually, before that, I just wanted to be a medical doctor. So
wow.
I didn't even know what programming was. So my mom was like, "Is this new thing?" And I couldn't, it was strange. Like, what's programming? Why do I even need it? Why am I stressing myself with all of this? So it was quite a great experience. But again, I think because after that, it took me quite some time to get to start building projects. And I think that's where the disconnect was, because I wish somebody had told me to start building projects a lot earlier. I was busy trying to learn programming concepts, but I forgot the applicability of programming, how to apply what I've learned. And I think that's why I'm still trying to do this Educloud Academy right now, because I want people to really know that they have to apply their programming skills in order to make a difference, either in their organization, in their community, or in their lives. So from 2008 to about 2002, I wrote my first real life project, which was just a side project in 2012. So why did it take me 4 years? Because I finally came to understand that you would have to apply this knowledge some way if you need to really see how it works, you have to apply it. And it took me quite a while to start building projects, but when I started building projects, that was it. So I built a couple of stuff along the way. I built a social media app. I thought I would be the next Mark Zuckerberg, but nope, I wasn't. I would never be. So it's okay. That's fine. So, I mean, but I kept going, and I've just been building all through. I've done a lot of freelancing, and I did not know about serverless up until November of 2021, where, like, that's why I keep saying I don't know if I was living under a rock, because I was actively programming, but
Yeah.
I've not heard about serverless. And
Not
serverless
at all. I mean, I speak to so many people who, I mean, serverless is a silly name. I think we all recognize that, but it is, and once you understand it, it's great. But yeah,
Yes.
lots of people don't understand it. I'm at a developer conference today, Go to Amsterdam, super cool conference, like lots of smart developers. And lots of them they may have heard the term serverless, but they have no idea what it means or what it does. So yeah, there's no under a rock at all. I think we have a broad industry over here, and there's always plenty going on.
Yeah, and also what I want to talk about is like I don't like the fact that okay, people there's a misconception where people try to apply serverless to all use cases. And when it doesn't work with their use case, instead of trying to adjust their thinking, they try to dunk, or they try to dunk on serverless instead of asking themselves, I mean, was serverless right for this use case? It's just there's a disconnect there, and it brings a lot of conflict, and it's really rigid. But I think maybe with time and with a lot of advocacy and learning, I think people will start to understand where and where not to use serverless technology.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm a serverless developer advocate. People think I would be, doing everything for serverless, but the fact is there are plenty of use cases where there are other decisions you can make, and some of them may not even be technical. Some of them may be just the way your organization runs, or the skill set, or you've got a quick turnaround time on a project, and you just need to use what you know. And 100%, we've got to understand how that works. And I think the good work that you're doing also on the Cloud Academy, and work that's going on even in universities and schools and all things like that, because it's a really great teaching tool. And in time, more developers will be comfortable with serverless. And I mean, in a lot of companies today, it already is just the normal. That's just the way companies are being built. And that takes time to spread out. And I hear very few people who tried serverless and tried coding with serverless and then thought, no, this is a silly idea, and go back. They may have reasons for scale or location or things like that, but I think once people adopt serverless, in a good way, they certainly not going to get rid of it all.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, Rosius, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I love the education industry. I think you're doing such an awesome job, and to see a fully serverless platform, running on AWS that is also doing AWS kind of stuff, and you're also an AWS hero and a cool person as well. So I'm hoping we'll be able to connect up in person soon. And yeah, good luck with Educloud Academy, and hopefully we can spread the good word and do some more cool things.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Excellent. Well, everybody else, what I was going to say, same time, same place next week, and we'll also be back on Twitch. And yeah, we're actually talking like how's this for a context switch, to talk about integrating time series databases. So maybe it's going to be a future course on Educloud Academy. But yeah, this is basically AWS Time Stream, which has a few different flavors, and this can integrate really nicely with Amazon RentBridge now. So we've got Jatin and Balwant who are going to be taking us through that. So that would be all cool. And then if I can switch to yeah, and of course, everything to do with serverless on AWS, serverlessland.com. Lots of patterns, lots of cool kind of educational content as well there. So yeah, happy building. Everybody else, yeah, we'll see you same time, same place next week. Thanks so much for joining us here. And if you're seeing the recording later, I'm sorry we couldn't have you live, but yeah, we hope you appreciate the recording. And yeah, thanks for building serverless applications, and anything you need, let us know, and we'll be happy to help. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much, and thanks, Rosius.